Okay.
Take two.
Alrighty. So, here you start. Take it away.
No, you can start.
Okay.
Yeah.
Alright. Okay. Seeing color. With, seeing color in lack of American literature really showed how hard it is to be a different color other than white. It really showed specifically on how African Americans struggle, especially since they're not portrayed in books. We have students that don't really achieve for big things because they're not throughout any of our literature that we have. And on the lack of African American literature,
Yeah.
it talks about how one of the students, and it talks about this, it says one of the students didn't want, I mean, not didn't, the teacher asked him, what do you want to do when you grow up, kind of question. He's like, well, I'm going to be a basketball player, and when I have money, I'm going to use that money to become a rapper. So those two things is like, those are their only aspirations
Yeah.
because of what they live through and stuff
What
like that,
they-
and they don't
they're
really see
exposed to.
themselves exactly.
Yeah.
They're exposed to that, and that's good. And they're not really exposed to literature that is about
Yeah.
them, like being a doctor or
Yeah,
stuff like
it's
that.
I wrote about it somewhere here, but it was like the themes in stories where they're like the main characters are like always about slavery or the civil rights movement, and it's never like, you're right, it's never them being able to put themselves in the shoes of the characters present day. You know what I mean? It's
Exactly.
always like in the past, this is
Yeah.
how you guys were treated,
Yeah,
and it's never
exactly.
not like, it's never like, oh hey,
Where you can go and
Yeah.
what has been done. And, yeah.
yeah, like they're always in the shadows. I totally. And I don't think I ever thought about that. Like when I would read Martin Luther King Jr. books and all that stuff, I would just be like, oh yeah, I know him and all that stuff. But it's like I never realized the absence of like adventure themed books where African Americans are like.
Yeah, exactly. And also, I like the video, the Tracy Chapman video, because I feel like it would really encourage our students to, like, because they, even when we talk about poems, even like I can relate when they talk to me about poems. I didn't like them even though they sounded like a rhyme,
Yeah.
and even though I liked music,
Yeah.
it wasn't really something that catch my attention because it wasn't used in a multicultural aspect. And when this guy, I feel like when you can show this to African Americans or just to any multicultural race, and then they'll be like, oh hey, that's a nice poem,
Yeah.
and they'll be lifted up by it. And I think that's what we lack, and that's what seeing color and the AA literature,
Was getting at.
yeah, was getting at.
Yeah, I agree.
Also, from one of the articles, I think we've read it before, the Peggy McIntosh article on white privilege.
Yeah.
I think that was a really powerful, even though I've read it a couple of times now, it's still powerful, and I get something new every time because, like, you see it at different perspectives and things like that, and you see, like, for example, myself, I have privilege too, like all those
Yeah.
other videos that, that discuss about, white privilege, even though, yes, white privilege is so,
I never said
it's okay, it's right there.
Oh my gosh.
Even though, white people are more privileged than colored people, I feel like males.
Yeah, privilege comes in like layers.
Yeah,
You know what
yeah,
I mean?
exactly. And then, so it just really let me see that because it wasn't some other, I don't remember what other video talked about being privileged and things like that. And yeah, we all have privileges, but the most evident one is the white privileges because of how they have privileges that we don't. And also, I don't remember.
I remember, I think it was a video from last week, but it was a presentation that, what's her name? It was someone presented on like the topic of white privilege and how like a white person could live their whole lives not caring about like these rights.
Yeah, and the things
like,
that.
Yeah, that other,
African
and
Americans
they could die,
Yeah,
and their lives wouldn't be changed for it.
exactly. Or
Like,
that they can
it-
be stopped
Yeah, like
for any
it,
reason.
it doesn't hurt them, and it, you know what I mean by like it doesn't really like put a consequence Indians to their normal ways of living,
Yeah.
in ways that like people fight for these things because they actually make, you know what I mean? They're
Yeah.
actually impacted by it, and I think a lot of privilege is recognizing that you have this kind of upper hand and like, I don't know.
Yeah.
You know
No,
what I mean?
yeah, for sure. And then I remember, if you remember seeing, well, I don't think you saw it, but I kind of went down on the comment section of my privilege videos,
Oh yeah.
and there was this one person that posted something on the comments, and he was posting that there was an Indian friend, and he was a white person. He was talking about himself and his friend that was Indian, and whenever he came from India, he had to shave his beard and all that stuff because on the plane they would stall him for like hours just because of his beard.
Yeah.
And then the white person didn't believe that privilege, like that he had that he can have a beard, but they won't stop him because he's white. And so he tried it on the plane. Like he was like, oh no, just leave your beard. I want to see. And they did stall him for a lot of hours. So it's like,
crazy.
so yeah. So just really realizing that privilege that they have is really something that they don't really want to be accounted for.
See ya.
All right. So my book the section that I had to read was Slap an NCO, and this book is really about Native Americans and how stereotypical some literature can be. Like for example, when we have some books that just represent one picture of some sort of Native Americans, it's not really the whole Native Americans. So what I really got from it is that, and really got from it is that culture, Native Americans is a culture, but there's a lot of subcultures that we don't understand, and that we don't really want to get into deeply, and we make all these stereotypes, and that's where all stereotypes, misconceptions, and yeah, so some misconceptions occur when we don't really get into deep into the culture that they are experiencing. And also it talks about how in some of the books when they're telling about history about here North America, it some of the books, so it really focuses on how the books should be written instead of how they're written now. For example, in the historical point of view, some of the books say, "Oh, Native Americans needed, the settlers to come and invade their country because they were running out of food." They were saying, or they were running low on things to things, but they didn't really understand the culture, and they didn't understand that that's how they live and things like that. So, yeah.
Yeah, I think there are definitely like a lot of misconceptions about Native Americans. Like I don't know much about Native Americans, and I grew up in a city that was like all my middle schools, like their animals were like Native American themed and stuff like that. Which goes to my question on how like Indian team names and logos and like making those things part of the athletic program, like how that increases stereotypes. And I was wondering if you experienced any of that. Like, did you go to, like, have you thought about that? Like one of the football teams is like the Redskins. You know what I mean? Like,
well, yeah, I saw that video too on what you're talking about right now, and I never saw it that way either. Like I was like, oh, Redskins, and then they had this picture of the Indian, which I never thought about as derogatory. But then I saw the video where each person, like an Native American person, they were asked how do they feel about Redskins, and it's like saying the N word to black people. So it's like really offensive, and we sometimes it's like, for example, even us, like we don't really take that stuff into consideration.
For sure.
No. Oh, and the other question about my.
Oh, sorry.
It's okay. It said, how does this align to Woodring's mission of social justice? And reading their goals and things like that, it speaks on how important it is for the school to convey knowledge by integrating research, theory, and practice. And I feel like they're really moving into that direction because they're really focusing it on the real history and really trying to dig deep and studying those roots. And I feel like that's really positive for our school systems because I feel like the people and the teachers that graduate from Woodring will really be culturally relevant.
Yeah,
when
and
teaching.
responsive
They're
for sure.
responsive.
Yeah. Cool. What was your gut reaction?
So my gut reaction was from Slapping and Seal. It just really made me feel that I was misinformed also because even though, like I said, I know I'm a minority too, but I didn't, like, I don't really consider the other things of other minority groups, and I don't really see how disrespectful some things can be. And it really just got me thinking of how, like I said, like we don't really understand other cultures, and then we don't understand that there's subgroups, even though we know in our own culture, like for example in Mexico, we have people from Mexico, some of them speak Spanish, but some of them speak other dialects, and then just
And I had no idea.
yeah.
Yeah. Like,
Yeah, so it's like the same with Native Americans. It's like we don't like see that. We don't question that and stuff like that. We just make how do you say it, assumptions.
yeah, and it like brings me back to intent versus like intention versus like what's the other word? Like you can have good intentions, but the impact it has. There was part of an article, the Not for Sport, where it's like it's okay to like have those good intentions and to do it and like carry it out. But if someone tells you that it offends them or that it's like not accurate and you don't change it, that's when it's like actually really offensive because you're persisting on the behavior that's
Even though you
continuing
know.
the stereotypes. It's like knowing and still doing it anyway type of stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, and then also to relate it with one of the other videos that I saw was like the why minorities hate cultural appropriation. I kind of related that to Slapping and Seal to the Native Americans because I sometimes have heard, where Americans or even Hispanics are like, man, look at that white person using my style or
my
whatever.
God. It's like such a relevant topic today.
And even our own culture, sometimes it's like, no, it's okay. There's nothing wrong with it. Like even myself, I was like, there's nothing wrong with it. I don't feel offended or stuff like that. But then I looked at the video and then it shows how, like for example, the twerking. I don't know if it's how, but Miley Cyrus was like, twerking, and it's like, oh, the new dance. But if a African American person did it. If an African American person did it, it was so wrong. Yeah, so it's like, so that's, now I understand why the cultural appropriation.
Or like Kylie Jenner and her big lips. Like, big lips have always been like, looked down on, like, oh, that's trashy.
Or being voluptuous kind of thing.
And then it's like, oh, now it's cool. Now it's trendy. And I think that's like, being trendy is where it like...
Yeah, and just not recently, there was a teacher, I don't know if you ever read that article, where there was this teacher, I don't know, I believe she was African American, and she, she was curvy and stuff like that, and she got in trouble for wearing the dress, types of dress, because they looked, tight on her.
Yeah.
But then other teachers wear the same dress.
And it's like, it's not a thing. Yeah.
But then like now, like we have, white people trying to be voluptuous and stuff, and it's not.
Yeah.
So I mean, I just thought that really was like, kind of like made me think, and I was like, wow,
it's hard because a lot of, obviously it's not right to like culturally appropriate like a culture, obviously, but there's also like, where is the line within each, like what is okay and what isn't. Yeah.
What was your gut reaction?
My gut reaction came from the poetry book, like A Suitcase of Seaweed and Other Poems, and it talked a lot about family and how, because like all the poems she wrote, it was like her existence through the experiences of her family and how like she is the person she is and she grew up the way she did because of the sacrifices that her family made. She was Korean, Chinese, and American, I think, and she explored each of those different identities and how they all like intersected and made her herself. And it kind of reminded me a lot about myself, and like I'm a Filipino, but I'm also a part, like more of my culture is American, just because I grew up here, and like what you said last week, where like you were never Mexican enough for these people, and you were never American enough for these people, and I just related to that like so hardcore because I do remember joining like I was like trying to get in touch with my culture, and I joined like a Filipino group.
Yeah, no, that,
Filipino club.
yeah, for sure. I remember the Latino club in high schools, and I couldn't
Oh
go because I
my
felt like they were
gosh.
staring at me like, hey, you're not.
Yeah, and I felt so out of place and so judged within my own
Yeah.
culture, which is so like shocking
Yeah.
for me. And I went once and I never came back, and I was like, this is such a disadvantage. And like,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
but yeah, that's
I can relate to that. Yeah, I remember.
yeah, the whole identity portion of that made me feel happy, sad, and
Yeah.
yeah. Where did
Cool.
your mirror come from?
My mirror came from the book The Blacker the Berry, because
okay.
of how relevant and crucial it is in today's time. Like, there are so many skin shades in every race and complexities of every race. Like even in Hispanic people, there's some that are really pale and there's some that are really dark. And I felt like I really could relate to on the Snowberries, specifically on the Snowberries poem.
Can you remind me? Sorry, there were so many.
In the Snowberries poem, it was kind of like on how she was white, and it's kind of touching base back on what you just said right now about you're never really Mexican enough, or you're never really American enough, and it touches on that kind of thing because she felt black because her blood was black and everybody in her family was black, but she was just white because it could have been a parent or whatever that. But she, people that were really dark skinned, they would tell her, no, you're not black, you're white and stuff like that. But then I really like how the book, even though they're talking about the complexities and the bad things about each skin color, they always turned it around and said something good about it.
Yeah.
Which is really like I really like that book because I remember like growing up, like I was really different from my family, my relatives. Like most of them are, pale skin and whiter than I am, and I was always the dark one. And I remember we would always be like, you're the adopted one. Kidding, I mean, not whatever.
Yeah,
but
no.
yeah,
Totally.
yeah. So
Yeah.
yeah.
I've heard that with my own life too. Yeah, that was your mirror, but that book was my window. Just cause like what's what did I say? I think so often we see like black as being this like bad color. Like it reminded me a lot of the doll test video.
Yeah. I actually saw your post when you put that, and then I saw the video.
Yeah, and it reminded me of that video, and it was really like refreshing to see a book like explicitly talking about black being beautiful and black being important and significant, and this is why.
Yeah.
And being so clear about it, because I think a lot of times we beat around the bush and we have that colorblind approach. Like, oh, we're all beautiful. We're all great.
Yeah.
But it's like, okay, if we're all this, then why is it important for you to tell me that? And I think a lot of black people don't hear that from people outside of their color.
Of course. No, and then that's why we have, from that doll says, that's why we have those young children that feel like being dark is not good. So, yeah.
Thank you. Thanks, Sandra. Okay. Yeah.
And then, so your mirror Was My Window, which is The Suitcase of Seaweed. You know, the poem is,
We're flip flopped.
yeah. Because it helped me really look at a different perspective that one can see if they are not Asian American. Specifically, I mean, I can relate to it a lot
Yeah.
because of how, you know, like I said, we're not never Mexican enough or
Yeah.
American, but I think the other perspective that I saw is that Asia is so big and so broad
Yeah.
that it is that, and you know, I didn't, not that I didn't notice, and I have, you know, experience with some Asian Americans where they get a little bit mad and upset that, you know, somebody just asking of where they're from, or if they just generalizing, they're like, oh, you're from China and stuff like that, just
Oh,
because
yeah.
China's the biggest one, you
Yeah.
know, and so it just really, the book, it just showed me like how it showed me a little glimpse of their culture, I feel like, and like, for example, when the hospitality part on the hospitality poem,
Yeah.
and how she, like, the mom was so focused on the shoes that she didn't care to give them any food, and you know,
And it was kind of like her payback.
yeah, exactly.
Like,
yeah,
you just
yeah,
dirtied up my floor,
yeah,
huh?
exactly.
Yeah.
So that was like a really like, oh well, it's okay then. You know, they really care about, you know, that's really disrespectful in their culture.
Yeah.
And then the Gangan and Susie.
Which one was that one?
The Gangan and Susie, where it talks about her. Gangan is the grandpa, and then he, you know, when the Great Depression hit here in America, he was like living off of in the streets, and he was homeless, and he ate anything like skunks and stuff like that, which really got me thinking, and which, you know,
Did your
there's
parents have to make those sacrifices? Like, did they have to eat? Like, cause I come from like a super poor family, and like my dad and stuff would eat things that I was like, oh my
Yeah.
gosh, I can't even.
I don't know if they had to go through those sacrifices like just because. I feel like they ate more things just because they wanted to. So yeah, because
Okay.
I remember
Yeah.
like, I don't know, they used to tell me how they ate like some bugs and stuff
Oh,
like that,
yeah.
but it was not like they had to. It's
Oh,
just something
yeah.
that they liked. So
Okay.
it wasn't really like they had to, which is in the Susie's grandfather situation. He had to eat this stuff, and then it just really reminded me of, you know, how we, I don't know if it's stereotypical even, but you know how we like, or I really think like when I think about Asians, it's like they eat anything like frog, they eat this and this and that, but we really don't see that. Maybe they do it because they're trying to survive.
Yeah.
Like even like in,
Or it's like it's a cultural thing,
Yeah.
and it's like not wrong
yeah,
to
exactly.
them. Yeah.
So I think we stereotype in that aspect, and we think it's so wrong and inhumane. Like in the dog situation, like I have
Yeah.
dogs myself, and I
Yeah.
love my dogs, and I would never
Yeah.
want them to go through that pain.
Yeah.
But then again, I think about what are they living through? You know, China is one of the biggest countries in the world, and they have a lot of people that they have to feed or stuff like that. So I just thought about it. It just made me really, really
Yeah.
change perspectives on that issue and stuff like that.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was my mirror because of, I don't think I said the poem. Did I? Oh yeah, the poem Other, and how you just like walk by someone who's your race and you automatically feel connected to that person. Growing up in a predominantly white school, I was immediately like the person that looked like me,
Yeah.
and like we would be best friends automatically.
Yeah.
And it was weird to see that like that behavior repeated, like other people do that too. Like I don't know if you do that, like you see someone who's like, if you're in a room full of white people and then you see someone who's like
Yeah.
colored, like
Yeah, for sure.
like I would like gravitate to the person who looked like me. And the poem was like, you know, regardless of how we looked physically, you knew like underneath you had some similarities just from the way you experience the world and like how others see you and your culture. And I think,
Yeah, actually, piggybacking on that, I feel like this is so probably irrelevant and thing, but I just heard that from a passage my pastor gave this 2 weeks ago, and because
I'm
he's
quoting him. No.
he talks about how about what you just said, that when we make relationships, we usually tend to have relationships with people that look like us because we feel more comfortable
Yeah.
with those kind of people. Like, for example, if they look like us, if they act like us, if
Yeah.
they're like us, they're like, oh yeah, we connect, we can,
Yeah.
you know, he used the word that was kind of fun, but it's, you know, connection, there's connection. But if there's a person that is not the same as you, which he was referring to, like the things that are happening right now, because he really is for social justice and stuff like that. So he talked about, so it really, like, it relates to what you just said about like how we connect to people that are
Yeah.
the same.
And
or
I
that,
think a lot of that connection comes from wanting to feel safe. Like, oh, you already understand this thing that usually makes me feel different,
Yeah.
so I don't have to explain that to
Exactly,
you,
yeah.
and I don't have to be worried
Yeah.
that you're going to judge me for
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
Exactly.
Cool. Okay.
Um,
Did you watch the Joy DeGrasse?
oh
Black
yes,
History
yes, yes,
Month?
yes. I did actually.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
When I watched, that should have been my gut reaction.
Yeah,
Because when
yeah.
I watched that, I was like,
Dang, yeah. Yeah, exactly.
no, yeah.
It was true. Yeah, it's really like tough because I feel like she was going way back. Like she you know, like she made you think like way back, like, and that's why I think she put on her Joy, our teacher, she put on her comments to look at the comment section in the bottom.
Yeah.
Because of what she said, and I feel like what she said is like, you know, look at the history of,
Yeah.
you know, you know, white people, and then they don't want to go through that. They don't want to.
Yeah.
They don't want to be seen as the bad people.
Yeah.
And I feel like, I don't know.
Wait, what do you feel about it?
You know, because I'm just seeing it as a biblical standpoint, and what I've heard about them saying about the Bible and how who is the real Jews. I don't know if you've ever heard that and stuff like that, but it's like it was just so relevant, and I was like, hey, she's kind of going into that. Like, even though she didn't say it was religious, it's like she's going through that privilege that you know, African Americans might have been privileged before, but you know, slowly, and the privileged white people changed all that just for their advantage, kind of thing. So that's kind of what she was saying.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, I feel like social justice conversations are so dominant in social media. Like, and it's, I don't know if I even like looking through that anymore.
Yeah.
Just because of the information that is like not accurate. You know what I mean? And people just talking on their emotions, and I'm totally one of those people on like, you just get so passionate about like wanting rights for people, and I think that was like eye-opening for me, because like, oh, I want that, yeah, like, no, that's important, and I don't have anything to back it up. Like, I don't have any like of the historical resources to back it up. And when she said like the part about having a black president and how like that didn't cure racism, but everyone thought it did, because hey, we have a black president, that means anyone can be anything. And it's like, no, like our criminal justice system is still whack. Like, all of these institutions that have been racist are still racist.
And and then she talked about how, you know, slavery kind of thing, and then like you said, the social system, or like jail system and stuff like that. You know, they're not, because she said something about more badly. Like now, the majority group is not doing it like so bluntly. They're like basically saying, like how she said, they're basically saying, we're not gonna hurt you that bad no more, but we're still gonna hurt you. Like, and they're trying to make it seem like they're not doing anything bad, but like we saw in the 13th video and that stuff, like we see, we see that, you know, things still need to change, and it was just really eye-opening, like you said on that video, how nobody wants to talk about it.
Yeah.
What What about the Macklemore video? Did you see it?
The Macklemore video?
The song.
His
whatever.
cultural appropriation
Yeah.
song?
No, it wasn't
No?
about cultural appropriation.
No?
It was just like on the Black Lives Matter and stuff.
Oh,
like I
no.
didn't listen to
I-
it all because it kind of got boring. But
See, I didn't watch that one, but sorry, Johnny. But just being honest, like I used to be part of like a diversity like committee in college. Oh, my sister was, and I would tag along because I was like, this is so cool. And they all hated Macklemore because he would like culturally appropriate the Native American tribes. Like if you watch his first hit song. I forget what it's called, but he was wearing like tribal gear and everything like that, and they like, they're like, no, he's a fake. He's talking about peace, but he's culturally appropriating this, and it just reminded me of like intersectionality and how like there are so many layers to social justice. You know what I mean? But I do like some of his music.
well, I don't like any of his. I don't
Oh,
listen
no,
to
I
any of
do.
his music. I don't
not
really
like
care
all
for
of
it. But
I do. I've listened to some and I'm like, no, he's preaching about things that I think are relevant.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if you've heard the song Wednesday Morning. It was about Trump being elected. Joy, I am not for Trump. Sorry, I'm gonna be very clear. But it's like how you move forward from disappointment. Yeah. So I think like I don't know.
Well, like
Yeah,
when you were
tell
saying
me
about the
about this
culture.
video.
Well,
Yeah.
I don't like I like I said I only saw part of it, and it was talking about like Black Lives Matter and how it should, like, why is it important and things like that, and why, at least that's what I understood from it, from what I saw. But what I was gonna go back on was on how he dressed like a Native American. I feel like sometimes they don't really think about those kind of things, like the cultural appropriation, and then you have the issue of like, what back then, if you wore that kind of suit or that kind of thing, they were killed because they practiced their culture. And now you have, Macklemore or whoever, white person that wears it and is, they're for their culture kind of thing. So I think, I don't know, I feel like cultural appropriation is, I think it's the way you use it, and because it kind of said it's like, it's okay if you do it or if you wear it, but then if you're gonna have to back it up, and you have to be able to fight for social justice in the same way that you would fight for anything. So.
Or if like someone tells you, hey, you're offending me by wearing that, maybe you just
shouldn't do it. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Like back when I was in 7th grade, sorry, this is kind of off topic, but on topic, like feathers were like a thing. I don't know if you remember that. I don't know. Okay, well, back in 7th grade, people would put feathers in their hair as like the trend, and like everyone would have like feather parties where you would put like these feathers in your hair, and then like it eventually became like a fashion faux pas because like it's like culturally appropriating Native Americans, and I never thought of it like back then in 7th grade. But yeah, I think intention has to like do a big part. Yeah, because once I figured out, I was like, oh yeah, I can see why that would be offensive.
Yeah, and I think it's a lot very offensive when especially if that particular thing that the white people are doing now is if it was like condoned upon the minority group before, like for example, I also talk about rock music and how before it was a really bad, they didn't like it, but it was originated from African Americans.
Like all music. Yeah.
And then a white person like Elvis Presley started, playing it, and it was all awesome. It was like he's the god of whatever, of rock and stuff like that. So.
And that's so frustrating.
Yeah.
Just end on that.